Greetings and welcome to HORRORific
Hey, I
Talkspot.
think it's working.
What do you think of the new digs?
I mean, shit. It's fucking nice
This
so
is
far.
so much easier. Holy crap. I was getting burnt out with OBS Studio. I'm sick and tired of it resetting all the time and then losing like components, because if you don't set the stream up properly, then your camera goes wonky, you get all the freeze frames and all that kind of nonsense. So every time the software does an update, it just resets everything.
Shit.
The last thing that really pissed me off was it removed the NDI plugin, which meant I couldn't add your Colin and had to do all that weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I ended up with 3 screens, because I was having to have separate fucking screens to operate separate components. Now we're all in a browser. We're actually going out not just to YouTube, but to Facebook and Twitter as well simultaneously.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
And we can actually hear each other, and it's not doing that stupid.
I know,
shit.
and it's like I'm seeing you perfectly. It's great.
That's what's frustrating me. That shouldn't be that difficult.
Right? Especially when it's like, that's all you do, company. What the fuck?
Yeah, come on, get it sorted. Fucking so I've I'll need to like delve more into the if buts, the bells and whistles of this thing, but so far, like I said, I've had a couple of tests and oh my god, it's like a dream. It's like I click it and it happens. It's like, whoa, what's going on?
Hell
yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of sunny days, 3 sunny days in a row, and the world was going to end. I don't know if you caught up with that. The fucking death cult. It's sunny, you're gonna die, and
I mean, it sounds pretty fucking miserable to me.
I am sick of these miserable bastards who just don't enjoy life and they just live and wallow in fucking misery.
Yeah, it's like, why? What's the point?
Like, as a horror fan, the whole point is to embrace the macabre because you enjoy fucking life. That's all. Do you know what I mean? That's why probably most of these fuckers don't watch horror, because their own existence is more terrifying. You know what I mean? It would frighten me more to live as one of them fucking morons than any creature that can be imagined.
Right.
Jesus Christ, man. It's just doing my head in. The fucking just... I can't describe it. It is a cult. And they can't take any joy out of existence whatsoever. It all has to be doom and gloom. It's almost like an addiction, man. But yeah, 3 sunny days in a row. Yeah, it was hot. It's about 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fuck.
For 3 days.
That sucks.
But that's summer in Utah, let's be honest.
That's I mean, yeah, but this
pretty much
literal hell on earth, so that just makes sense.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Guess what? People survive. Yeah. They were saying that the city was burning, and then a week later, they kind of shoved aside that people were actually starting the fires. The city's on fire because the world's coming to an end. And then it turns out that dopey bastards are having barbecues on grass or in their fucking houses.
Fucking assholes.
Because that's what you do. You have a barbecue indoors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's always been the way it worked. God, and then stupid disposable ones. Oh, come on. You've been online. You've seen people.
That's true.
There's no shortage of stupidity in the world.
Yeah, that is true.
And unfortunately, it gets concentrated in the big cities. That's just all the stupid people get squeezed together, and it's like fucking concentrates. Jesus Christ, man!
That's fucking great.
Like, this is the first year ever in my life that summer in a country where we're dark most of the year, this is the only chance to actually smile for a bit, because it's not fucking chucking down with rain, and the skies aren't grey for a few weeks of the year. And they managed to turn into some fucking miserable fucking thing. Arseholes, man. Absolute arseholes.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So apart from that, fucking, I don't know. I just give up with people.
That's fair. That's fair. How fucking stupid.
So on good news, I think we'll jump in pretty quickly. But Yeah, the film we're going to talk about just turned 40 this month, so it seemed like a good time to bring it up and go through it. Really enjoyed this one, actually, even after all that time.
Yeah, no, this is one that holds up so goddamn well.
If only I've a few observations like why it should never be remade, but I guess we'll dive quickly into the vault.
Sounds like a plan.
So if you haven't seen by the episode description, we are of course talking about Poltergeist.
Hell yeah, we are.
First released in 1982. Poltergeist, 1982 American supernatural horror film, directed by Tobe Hooper and written by Steven Spielberg, Michael Grace, and Mark Victor, based on a story from Steven Spielberg. This is also the first time the production credit was also given to the fucking destroyer of franchises herself, the whore of Hollywood, Kathleen Cunt Kennedy. This is
this was her first.
This is the first time she, because she's well known for the first person she leached on to, obviously, was George Lucas, but she quickly attached herself to Steven Spielberg. So this is the first movie that she fucking made the tea and coffee for. Does fuck all, but got her name on it. So this is the first that utter whore bitch. Obviously, no bias here whatsoever towards that woman.
Yeah, right.
I fucking despise her so much.
Same. I definitely am not a fan.
A talentless fucking hack that just leeches onto other people's work, and then when she gets how the fuck she ended up running Lucasfilm, I'm still can't wrap my head around, because she's an ugly fuck. So no way has she slept her way to the top. Like, unless
the thing I don't get with her is, like, most executives only have a lifespan of about 2 to 4 years in a company, and she has been here for fucking way too goddamn long. I really don't understand it.
She must have some amazing blackmail material,
right? That's the only thing.
It's gotta be. I know her husband had a lot to do with making her introductions and stuff. You know what I mean? She's a social climber. She's nobody of value or of importance. Yeah, and it's sad to see that she actually managed to get her tentacles into the horror genre as well. But fucking hell, why that woman is like where she is just makes you scratch your head. Like, luckily enough, she hadn't got her claws in enough to actually have any creative say. She just got her name on. It was probably a favor. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, most of us don't give a shit about the credits unless you're finding out to see what other people's work's done. But these people care. Same as the award ceremonies. Nobody cares. Even less so now, because nobody wants to watch 3 hours being preached at by idiots.
Right.
Who are complete hypocrites. But they care. And obviously, this is their whole currency. I'm currently reading Tom Barr's book, Revenge, about fucking Meghan Markle. And I'm getting more insight into the whole Hollywood. You know, you do not have to have talent in that sphere. You just have to schmooze with the right people and you're set up. And once you're in, that's it. You pull the ladder up behind you and you become a gatekeeper and don't let anybody else in. That's why movies are in the shit state they are now. I just saw her name. When I was watching this first time, her name pops up at the end credits. And an instant fucking rage. I mean, I just saw red mist. I near threw something at the TV. I just saw her name like, fuck!
Yeah.
That woman has a lot to answer for. Anyway.
Yeah, there's
from that,
definitely a special place in hell for her.
Oh, all 7 levels. You know what I mean? She needs to just fucking get bounced up and down the ladder between all 7 levels and fucking sent again for another trip. This could be 2 hours of me just getting off on one. Seriously, just seeing her name now, that's the amount of rage I just feel. And fucking steam coming out my ears. Just fucking die, woman, die.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. So I'm not a fan. In case anybody's misinterpreting what I'm saying. But great movie.
Mhm.
Even though it's not an 18 rated, you know what I mean, it's not a gore fest. This is suspenseful horror. You know what I mean?
Oh
This
yeah.
is this works.
Mhm.
And I still had the same chills and feeling and enjoyment sticking this in the old Blu-ray player than when it first came out and when I watched it since. This was
Mhm.
a video shop, you know what I mean? This is a memories of the video shop.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember the
definitely.
poster. They're here, you know, that is one of the most iconic posters in horror.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Just her right up on the TV, like that's classic. Like you you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, and these are kind of the staple of 80s horror. I mean, this is the beginning. Sort of, you see the late 70s sort of influence with the effects, but this is definitely the start of the 80s genre of horror. And I'm
Mhm.
starting to consider that now the golden age of blockbuster horror. Would that make sense?
I mean, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah, it's the 80s definitely a special time for horror movies. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, the horror genre's nation, more stuff's going. You know, if you delve into horror, definitely more's come out since. In the 90s, took it in a new direction, and with
Mhm.
straight to DVD and then streaming, it's got its own thing. But in terms of horror movies actually being big at the box office and sort of making the mainstream aware that horror does exist, you know, what I mean, this is definitely iconic.
Mhm.
Because you
Yeah,
mightn't like horror,
definitely.
but you'll know Poltergeist. You'll know if somebody goes to you, they're here. You instantly know what that's about, even if you've never seen the movie. Like your ones will just
Yeah.
know. That's powerful. The story itself, it's a very basic story.
Yeah, it
It,
really is.
it's not trying to overcomplicate a thing. But
Mhm.
one thing that really impressed me is actually the pacing. They managed to keep the pace in this movie the whole way through.
Mhm.
I think, especially over the last few months, I've watched too much James Wan stuff where you're waiting 45 minutes for something to happen and then it all happens at
Yeah.
once. And too many movies now copying that sort of thing that you fucking jump scare, bore, snooze, 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 everything.
Yeah.
But this manages to go, there's no miss, you know what I mean? There's no filler in this movie. It makes sense. Like, we'll start off, we've got the
Mhm.
Freelings. They're living in Cesta Verde. I think that means, I looked that up, Green Slope or something, or Green Hill.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, a planned community only in America. You people love your cults. He's even make fucking neighborhoods into
I mean,
cults.
you're not wrong.
Like, I remember hearing about HOS for the first time, scratching my head, and go, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And then
No,
you
I
realize it's a fucking cult.
yeah,
You
straight the
can't
fuck up. It
you can't buy a
really
house
is.
without joining a cult in America. It's like,
Just
what?
minus like all the cool sex and blood orgies. Like it's fucking American as shit.
Fucking even American cults manage to make sex boring. When you hear like fetish people fucking talking about you're actually like they spend more time talking about sex and just doing it and fucking having
Mm,
fun. Back to the saying, they can't even
right.
like the misery cult of today can't even have a fucking couple of sunny days. Like, it's world's coming to an end. The end is nigh. And funny enough, this is happening during the 80s where midstream of the fucking satanic panic. So horror movies were like, oh, there's a cult around the corner. Well, people are in a cult,
Yeah, no shit.
fucking moving into cults. The suburban cult, you know what I mean? Fuck yeah. People slag Britain off for the class system, but Jesus Christ, you guys take it to another level. Seriously.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's just funny watching back. You know what I mean? They're all the guy, the Stephen, he's the realtor
Mhm.
living in the neighborhood where he's trying to sell people to. So essentially he's a gatekeeper as well, going, do you really
Mhm.
want to live with us? Are you one of us?
Yeah.
Um we start off, of course, with the American anthem. America. Is that the anthem, or is it? You used to have like two anthems, don't you?
Mm,
You've
I
like
guess
the Star Spangled
kinda.
Banner, which is like really jarring on the ears and difficult to listen to,
Mhm.
and then this other one, because it
Yeah, I
wasn't a
mean,
Star Spangled Banner pen at the start. It's the other one, which is associated as a.
I don't fucking remember.
Da, 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 da. Is that it? Da, 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 da,
Hold
da,
on.
da, 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 da. Hold on.
I'm clearly a good
No, that's so
American.
second. It's the other one.
Gotcha. Hold on.
Nah, well, never mind. Nah, I'm just a stupid
I'm
foreigner.
looking. I don't fucking know. I hate this country.
I'm getting you back, America. I see all the stupid questions I get fucking asked. America. Are you from Ireland? Do you know the O'Haffertys from Donegal? Fuck off. So I'm going to say stupid stuff about your country and make stupid presumptions.
It's fair. It's fair. I fucking hate this country. So just leave me alone to my little lot of land, and you guys can do all your own stupid shit. But it's Star Spangled Banner.
It is. It was a Star Spangled Banner. All right.
Yeah. If I remember correctly.
I know there's another anthem that's not quite the same, but it's used as, at the end of TV broadcasts. Oh, kids, by the way, back in the day, you didn't have 24-hour TV.
Yeah.
It actually shut off at midnight.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird. That's not that long ago that was still a thing.
I know
that's the crazy part.
Slightly old and decrepit, but I'm not quite there yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, TV used to shut off, and that was it. And then what they started sneaking in was the, what do you call them? The shopping channel started coming in, and then that was the precursor for 24-hour TV, which, and sort of thinking about the way the world is now, maybe we need a bit less.
Yeah, I think.
There's such a thing as oversaturation.
There really is. Well, and that's when you dumb down the content. It's just like, oh, I have to have something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, sludge must flow. Just churn it out, churn it out, churn it out. Where, like, even the Hollywood blockbusters gone now, because every movie made's like hundreds of millions to make. You know what I mean? It's either, if it goes in the theater release, it has to be hundreds of millions spent on it. And you're like, really? How was the movie industry able to survive before? I didn't check how much this cost, but it wasn't that much. You know what I mean? And it wasn't done in front of a fucking green screen.
Yeah, let me check that out. I'm drawing a blank on how much it was.
I think it's in the tens. It might have been in the tens of millions. No, I mean, it was a big movie. Let's be honest, and it's more than paid for itself.
I am actually not seeing a budget. I mean, it made 121.7 in the box office.
So imagine it was around the 10, 15 mark. You know, what would have been the mark?
Yeah, it was 10.7, apparently.
Look at that. Look at that. Me actually thinking like I know stuff. Yeah, so you can make a movie on 10 million using practical effects, which, sorry, much more expensive and actually time-consuming than VFX. Yet they spend fucking billions now, stupid amounts of money, and 30, 40 million on reshoots because they fuck it up the first time. Here's a movie that they spent 10 million on, got it right, and it's still here today. 40 years later, you can watch this movie and enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
So what we'll have here is, like I said, it starts off with TV. That weird scene with the guy cycling on a BMX, grown man with beers under his arm. Cycling.
I mean, that's somebody that's had a DUI. Like, that's all that is.
You're just going, really? Nah, kid's messing about with himself. And who goes into the house, somebody else's house, with fucking beer spraying everywhere? Like,
right?
Seriously?
It's like, that's the one that you just crack open and drink before you go in, for fuck's sake.
Or set them in the porch, drop them in the porch. I know it was for effect for the TV, but if somebody came into my house that got and spraying beer everywhere, they'd be out the window.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, that's major. Like, just sitting there. So he's sorry, that's fucking fighting talk.
Yeah, straight up. And I love how they're pirating the dude's cable. Like, that's another thing that you don't really think about, but that used to be a thing.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was pirating. It was the signals where they were on the same bandwidth, the frequency. So the two signals were conflicting with each other.
I
don't think it was pirating.
I'm pretty sure he was tapped into the other dude's shit. Because every time
I think it was the position of their TVs. Because remember back in the day, that could actually happen, especially when the remotes first come out.
Mm.
So the remotes were on the, you know what I mean? You don't have the digital sort of multi-channel remote now working on thousands of frequencies. These worked on like 5 frequencies.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go in. It's a bit like today with the Wi-Fi routers. If 2 people are on the same provider and if you're on the Wi-Fi, the same channel, you can kind of bounce your signal, if that makes sense, and mess up each other's Wi-Fi signal. So that's where you change channel. Those remotes kind of work on the same principle. So they go out at a certain frequency, and if they're within range of each other, but being like that close as well, was funny, but it did happen. So it was just a you know what I mean? It was like 2 people playing the radio and static or something, you know, messing, or you know, the old walkie-talkies, and somebody jumps on the same channel as you, CB radios.
Oh man, I used to get in so much trouble as a kid with those because there was the police chief for the city lived on my street, like just a few houses up. So we used to get his police radio all the time over our walkie-talkies.
Yeah, we didn't have that. All the police radios back home were encrypted because it was mainly the army. I think police were using army equipment, so it was like all encrypted, like sneaky beaky type stuff. So you didn't. It happened sometimes though. There were some stories where there was like an observation post set up, and they were doing a sting, and they'd actually broadcast onto somebody's TV. So somebody would actually get the fucking what do you call it, night vision camera staring at somebody else's, like one of their neighbors' houses, who just appeared on TV, and then they'd be like, "Oh shit, the army's after you! The army's after you!"
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It was some weird shit went on, but yeah, I had a CB radio. I know going off on a tangent, but I had a CB radio going off, and some of the conversations people would have was unreal. And it's like they didn't realize that they were on open broadcast, like talking about their personal life and stuff, like as if they were on the telephone.
I mean, that's just the beginning of the internet mentality, where you're super fucking important and everybody needs to know your dirty laundry.
Yeah, it was something else. And then you get people fighting, like, do you know where I live? Do you know where I live? I'm the one with the CB radio. See the tall radio? You come around my house now. And the thing is, people were within vicinity of each other because obviously shortwave radio.
Yeah.
So it was possible. Funnily enough, though, there weren't actually any fights.
Oh, of course.
So people, unlike the internet, people were legit actually able. You could go and find somebody with a CB radio because you had to be the monitor. You could carry and you could find signals. So you could actually go and find someone.
Oh, that's
and you could triangulate them to where they were, so people could literally turn up at your front door, but it never happened. And it kind of shows that cardly, you know, you can't see the person's face. You've got this safety net of being behind something, and you know, all of a sudden you get braver.
Oh, of course.
You know, it actually takes a lot to stick your mug and actually let people see you and talk. You know, that's why most people don't do it, because they'd rather snipe from behind an avatar than actually just stand up and say what you think.
Yeah, no shit.
But that's kind of this movie just brings me back to that time. You know what I mean? Humanity hasn't changed. You know, I mean, you're still dickheads. Just the problem was that now the dickheads are in control and like almost run the narrative, which is causing everybody misery. But yeah, that whole scene with them fighting over the TV, yeah, seeing each other's signals and stuff, and that it's just showing the whole suburban lifestyle. And the plant, like I said, the planned community just that sets off alarm bells. But it's showing the idyllic lifestyle. If that makes sense. They're all happy.
Yeah.
One thing that impressed me is this is a happy family.
Yeah.
They're a happy, content family. They're not, you know what I mean? They're just going through their daily lives. No issues, dramas, no angst. Because it's refreshing to see, actually, just a normal family getting on with their shit.
Yeah, because, you really don't see that because, you know, majority of the time that makes for a boring story.
But it's essential in this plot because it's the family's love that holds them together when an external force comes in to destroy them. So if they didn't have that, they'd all be beaten. And that's kind of the crux, you know what I mean? It was the way they managed to portray that in the beginning was really good and very minimalistic. You know, you didn't have to have it explained to you. You just saw by their interaction at the breakfast table and then joking with each other.
That's the magic of Steven Spielberg's writing. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a Tobe Hooper film, like straight the fuck up. But I mean, Spielberg wrote it, and he's a god of story.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore. Sad.
Mm-hmm.
Very. That's why we latch on. If we see something that's good, that's why I sing its praises, because it's like such a novelty now. Where this was almost the standard. You know what I mean?
This fucking was the standard.
Spielberg was the standard, and that's what you lived up to.
Yeah.
And when you have someone good, and you're not trying to turn them down, but live up to their example, things get better. But now we have this culture of fucking people sniping, and if somebody does a wee bit better, then you have to tear them down to make yourself feel better because you're shit. You know, boring.
Yeah.
So anyway, the story focuses around Carol Ann. She's the youngest, and we find out that her uniqueness is she was actually born in the house, which gives her a special connection. There's a whole underlying message in this about connection to the land.
Yeah.
Which I liked. It was subtle. You weren't getting beaten over the head with it, but it's all about how important it is being connected to the land you live in. Actually, almost very Native American thinking, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're on top of a native burial ground.
But they didn't know that. Or wasn't it native? It was a cemetery.
Was it? God.
It was a cemetery, yeah. It wasn't. Remember he said at least it wasn't the ancient burial grounds, no, it was a cemetery.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
You might be conflating with part 2, which
I think I am. Yeah.
It brings that aspect into it, but it's not directly related. But the theme of care, you know what I mean, have a connection to the land, and if you have a connection to the land you live in, it's strong and anchors you. So that's made Carol Ann a conduit. When things first kick off, it's her. You see her kind of talking to the TV. Apparently, she's known to sleepwalk. But she's in front of the TV, and actually, see the way that wee girl acted. Such a shame she passed early.
Yeah.
Heather O'Rourke, but the way she played that, you know, talking to the screen and the way she came across was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
For her age, like, how many child actors are actually halfway decent?
Yeah, not many.
You know what I mean? She really owned the role, you know, and played it right. But yeah, she's been targeted. She's the one actually talking through the TV. The other ones, then we start to see things. Funny scene was her in the kitchen.
Dude, I love that. And it's practical. And it's so amazing because it's just a bunch of motherfuckers just off set or just off screen, just waiting. They got that shit put together and like, all right, it's almost our time to shine. So goddamn good.
But you've got Carol Ann, she's like this, staring at the screen. And her mother's like, you'll hurt your eyes, and flicks the channel as if that's going to make a difference.
Right.
That was just like, what the fuck? It's almost saying something about the TV worship as well. You know, prior to the internet, the TV was God. You know, people literally hung on every word. And if you lost the TV or signal, people get agitated and stuff. You know, now if people get disconnected from their phone, like, there are people will literally fall apart. You know what I mean? It's that sort of addiction's being there. You know what I mean? It's almost instilled from a young age, this dependence on technology. You kind of see this being brought in as well. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but there's kind of subtle messages through this.
No, you can definitely see it.
But yeah, that scene where she flicks clears up the breakfast table. She's like, I thought I'd ask you guys to push the table in, the chairs in. And then next minute, she moves away. The chairs are pushed out again. And then all of a sudden they're on top of the table.
That's so goddamn good.
But I think what makes this unique as well is her reaction to it. Instead of the typical, which, if this was a modern, you know, mainstream horror movie, the person, Diane would be like, and fall to
it'd be straight up screaming, suspenseful music and all that shit. Well, it's like, that's pretty mundane. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a big deal. There's obviously something going on, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Or some asshole forgot to silence their phone.
Oh, yeah. Mine does that too. Sometimes I fucking behave. Yeah, but said that after the initial shock, she's like, whoa, this is cool. What else can it do?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's that's more realistic of a, I mean, I guess not so much in this day and age, but like, me growing up as a kid, like that's the kind of shit that would have happened. Like everything's moving around. It's like, oh yeah, we got all this tape on the floor. Check this shit out. Like that's the kind of shit that would have happened in my household, as opposed to like freaking the hell out over everything.
Yeah, there's something definitely lost because that spirit of exploration and not having a fear of everything unknown, that's I don't know. It's sad to see it gone because that's what leads to innovation. That leads to humanity pushing forward. Instead, we're going backwards. But yeah, the fact that she'd drawn out the circle, went, look, I can do this. And even Caroline's like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
I want to do something. Typical kid, though. Something's amusing for 5 minutes and then, well, I want to do something else now. But the whole way they reacted was just brilliant. It just made the movie what it was. That was that before or after the earthquake?
That was after.
After
earthquake was pretty much the first night. Which it's so fucking funny because as a kid, I thought there's no way in hell people would sleep through that shit. As an adult that has slept through numerous earthquakes, including some massive earthquakes, yeah, you can sleep through that shit.
Yeah, God, it's like I've slept through bombs and mortars and all sorts. You know what I mean? It used to be a funny thing. The last time I was out in the Sandy place, the order was if mortars come in, everyone had to get up, put on your body armor and helmet. You know what I mean? And then wait, and then you basically wait at the first light, and then go and search for what known as blinds. So basically, something lands in, doesn't explode, it's known as a blind. But if you don't find them, they can explode later. But eventually, you just got that blasé that I would wake up in the morning, my helmet would be just like sitting on top of my head, and the body armor would be around my shoulders, and I'd be like, "Oh, was there an attack last night?"
That's fucking great.
And just like, all right, something must have, and everyone got like that, because unless it directly, like impacted you, you didn't react because that's half the thing as well. Not to fall to bits every time something weird happens. Because unless you're directly in danger or you need to do something, then getting up the high do all the time doesn't help you.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, because I skipped that scene. She was first talking to the TV the first time she sleepwalked, and then when they actually reached out, yeah, she's talking away. Gotta love the 70s, almost Disney type effects. I'm convinced there's only like one effects company working in Hollywood at the time that did everything. It was very similar to Watcher in the Woods, wasn't it?
I mean, kind of.
I know it was done slightly different. It was that same sort of, that spectral sort of effect.
Yeah, well, I mean, shit, these are the days of ILM, like, ruling everything. I mean, they kind of still do, but this was definitely, it's had to have been ILM.
Yeah, you can kind of see the influence, across all sort of things. And someone's like, here's the horror fucking effects box. And rule that out for every movie. And you're kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what starts as initial?
Oh yeah, so it was ILM that was doing it.
It was?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see that, across the board. It was the same effects, in use for practically every movie during the time. Until Jim Henson really became the thing. Oh god, there's my phone going now. And then when Jim Henson was like the forerunner, his effects and creature effects were in every movie.
Yeah.
Just funny the way it is that one thing becomes that, and that back to oversaturation. Once you have like the one sort of aesthetic, it can kind of desensitize you.
Yeah.
You just see the same thing all the time, and then you lose the magic. But hey, that's Hollywood. It's still a production factor at the end of the day. But yeah, the whole thing with Robbie and the tree was funny.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that they had curtains, first of all. So the whole scene of Robbie being afraid of the tree and having a clown in his bedroom that he was afraid of, like, don't have it then, or put it in the closet.
Right, that's the funny shit. It's like he covers it up. It's like, man, you got a closet. You also got a garbage can. Get rid of the fucking thing.
And also, why wait the lights go out? if that's something that terrifies you, fucking doink, then the lights go out.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. But yeah, the whole talk about the storm and stuff. I know they were setting it up, but it was just funny. Well, curtains, there, job done.
Yeah, right.
Nothing to worry about. But yeah, this is where we see things take the sinister turn because I always thought, I remember first watching this, I thought the tree bit was at the end of the movie.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, fuck, that's the catalyst, pretty much. That's like
Yeah,
when shit's like, hey,
but
we're
I
gonna go
watched this.
crazy.
I was a kid when I watched this.
That's
I
fair.
know I've watched it, but it's been years. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
talking more than 10 years since I watched this movie. And I always conflate the first and second one because they're similar stories in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the scenes because the kids are roughly the same age. We'll not talk about the third one. That was just weird.
Yeah.
That was just strange movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, and even just how they like had to finish it out because Carol Ann had died.
yeah, Heather
prior,
O'Rourke,
like, yeah,
she had a
she
heart
died
attack.
right before the end. Or was it?
No, she died before it finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was filming the part 3 before she passed. Because she was actually, one of the things that was brought up, her face, because she was on the steroids,
Mm-hmm.
her face was actually bloated. And this is the sad thing. She was actually self-conscious. And she's still only a kid, but she wasn't even 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she was self-conscious about being slightly bloated because she was having to take medical steroids to save her life. That's why I personally don't think, I mean, I'm a bit hit and miss about child actors.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the Disney Channel or whatever it is now, but the old school Disney Channel has been so down, should actually be fucking brought in for child abuse.
Right.
The amount of kids that have fucked up over their time, actually worse than the BBC. I think they've done more damage than Jimmy Savile, to be honest.
That probably.
But this wee girl had a complex in the third one because her face was slightly bloated.
Mm-hmm.
And not the Hollywood skinny perfection. And you're like, fucking not even 10 years old, and that's just in your head.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I remember reading about that and just fucking, I was angry because I was just like, nah, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that to kids. Let kids be fucking kids. You know what I mean? I still don't like them, but I wouldn't be hard on one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to like them to not hate them.
Yeah, it's like I find them annoying, but at the same time, they fuck with their heads.
Right? It's like that'll happen over time. Let them be children right now.
Yeah, and that's why you have childhood to build up that fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
So that when the shitty stuff happens, that you realize, oh, people don't change. I remember getting told, like, oh, it's okay when you leave school, everyone will be better because they'll be adults. And then
no,
you realize that there's fucking 50, 60-year-old kids out there,
mm-hmm.
and they're worse. And you're like, fucking, that's why I don't do people, honestly. Yeah. Even interacting for this show, I find it difficult. It's like, okay, you understand I'm a fucking misanthrope, don't you? Right? And really, to make a show and a bit of art, I'm fucking stepping out of my comfort zone because,
right.
But yeah, that whole scene where things kick off, fucking tree comes in and eating Robbie, like that was proper horrifying.
Fuck yeah, it was. Well, and you knew from the get-go, like just looking at that fucking tree,
the face in it,
was gonna happen.
I thought the faces were going to come alive.
Yeah, the whole time. It's like you're just waiting for that shit to happen, and then this happens instead.
Yeah, actually, that's what inspired. Hold on. Can you see that? That wee tree I made for this, that's what actually was inspired by.
Nice.
I couldn't even remember the time, but yeah, Poltergeist. That's where I had my idea to put the tree, because I just always remember that tree, the way it was all gnarly and stuff, and essentially had a face. But yeah, the tree actually eating a kid. Like, this was unheard of. You know what I mean? There was also a thing about bad stuff can't happen to kids.
Yeah.
And here you have a kid getting eaten by a tree. You know,
so goddamn good. Well, and of course, that being the diversion, like that was even more sinister.
Yeah, the fact that we'll eat this kid if we can and kill it, but we don't care. That's not the prize. And it wasn't even the case of we'll take both kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, they had a specific guy, you know what I mean? And we know who it is, the Beast. He gets personified in the second one, but he has a plan. And the parents are just like, oh shit, the kid's getting, Robbie's getting eaten by a tree. Like, what would you think? You know what I mean? I know people have criticized the parents, go, why'd you leave Caroline in the room? Well, she's in a room not getting eaten by a tree.
Right.
In a house, which you're supposed to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes this movie so scary, is the one place that you're supposed to be 100% safe is the place that's trying to kill you.
Yeah. And then the fact that also most horror movies since and today, this would be dragged out of the ghost trying to capture Carol Ann. You know what I mean? That would be the whole thing dragged out for the entire movie. Where this is like, nope, we're catching her. We're getting what we want. And that happens like straight away. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the wee birdie thing. That was sad.
Yeah.
But once again, the underlying message. So a wee birdie passes away, and then obviously Dan's going to flush down the toilet. She catches on. I think it's to show that she's a caring, empathetic person. You know, I think it's kind of show that. But they put it in the box, they bury it in the garden, and then the garden's getting dug up with the bulldozer. Back to what I said about that underlying message of respecting the land. It's woven the whole way through this movie.
Well, and even the dad talks about it when the kid first brings up the tree being scary to him. He's like, well, I mean, it's an old tree. It was here before us. This is a part of the land, and you know, we're a part of that as well. It's just like I love that aspect of this movie. It's right there, just at the surface, but not in your face.
Yeah, which is what people miss now. You know, that's the whole point. Is you see that message and you see it being done well, and it's a simple one: respect the land. So if you take something out, put something back in, or do as little damage as possible. If something's been there longer than you, like a 1,000-year-old tree, then fucking leave it alone. Build around it.
Right.
Not everything has to be hacked and burned. But back to my open, because I thought it was very, like I was saying, last week with a couple of sunny days, the climate alarmists are achieving the exact opposite of what this movie's achieved in a few simple scenes.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? These idiots are like, that's why it's all kind of tied in. We've got the environmental message, because it's like, these fucking idiots want us to wear hair shirts and go back to burning wood, which is actually, the whole point of technology is we've done less damage. We're going past the day of just pouring sludge into the river. Do you know what I mean? That those days are long gone, and people have learned. And the 80s was a major catalyst for change. But these fuckers, it's not enough because they're a cult. And this movie's done more to talk about the environment and actually just have a bit of respect, which is a palatable message. Anybody can have respect at different levels. Oh, hold on, I have a wrapper. I don't throw it in the street. I stick it in my pocket or throw it in the nearest bin. Oh, wait, maybe sort out my recycling and not just chuck everything for landfill.
Right.
Really simple stuff to do. Do you need to burn a tire if I'm having a fire pit? Or it's a few bits of wood? Do you know what I mean? Simple things. Okay, do I pour grease down the sink? Maybe not. Maybe think of a better way. Do you know what I mean? You can tell people not to be arseholes without this fucking stupid cult mentality that actually has the opposite effect, because I want to go and fucking piss in rivers now every time the arseholes speak.
Right. It's like with vegans. Like, I am basically vegetarian. Like, if it wasn't for my wife, I pretty much would be vegetarian. But anytime one of those high and mighty vegans just starts to go off about shit, which, I mean, I believe in animal rights and all that shit. Like, I would murder people over animals. But yeah, when they start to go off about shit, I just want to grab a pack of hot dogs and eat it in their fucking face.
Yeah.
It's like, you're doing it the wrong way.
Nah, it's friggin' and that's what I mean. It's these idiots. Like, this is a Hollywood. It just shows how much Hollywood has changed. Because this is a Hollywood, mainstream Hollywood. It's the same sort of people around the end that are there now. They're still the same political leanings. They're still the same mindset. They're still a bunch of fucking deviants.
Yeah.
And hypocrites. Do you know what I mean? That side of things hasn't changed, because, like I said, that fucking the KK. Ugh. You know what I mean? People hate the triple K, hate the double K. The double K's done more harm to me than the other ones. But they're the same people, but they're able to tell a story here, make it enjoyable, and have a message.
Mm-hmm.
So how have we lost that? Have they lost the ability to do that? Apart from the fact that they've keep doing nepotism and hiring fucking arseholes just because they're in that bubble now, and you got these talented hacks just jumping on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to this. It was funny in the movie that they didn't call the police.
Well, I mean, it honestly just goes back to the whole idea of this being a cult. Like, you don't bring in outside forces. Like, even the construction people that are being all creepy and pervy on the teenage daughter, like, they're there and they're accepted because they're a part of it.
Yeah, and I think I was more saying she's giving back, you know, back to when it was Panther.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave her own, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, she definitely shut them down, and that shit was hilarious.
And everybody laughed.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she had a bit of spunk about her and gave it back to them, they're laughing at it as well. You know, it wasn't, once again, that would be labelled now. That's misogyny now, and the fucking male gaze and objectification and blah, blah, blah by the same dickheads that are doing bikini poses on Instagram. So it's okay to objectify them by hitting the like button and sharing and signing up to their OnlyFans, but don't whistle.
Right.
Or don't have banter. That's the fucking human race. Now, the minute it goes too far, fucking shut it down.
Yeah.
Or the minute there's physical touch, they're like cornering her off and not letting her go past. Like every fucking cardboard cutout villain in a movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know the rapists that walk about in broad daylight in Hollywood movies? And just do it there and then in the street and stop them. You know what I mean? That sort of shit. It's just fucking nuts. But yeah, that was just banter between them.
Yeah.
And she's like, show more strength because she's like not letting it affect her and giving it back.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, yo. And then everyone goes on their day.
Yeah. Well, and it's great too because it sets up her character. Like, it without anything else, we already know exactly who and what she is.
Yeah, and she's a bit of an underutilized character in this. She's
Definitely
almost like the spare part. Because every other character had a moment to shine. She wasn't really. It was like they didn't know what to do with her. Maybe that's why they got rid of her for the second part.
No.
Probably something to do with something behind the scenes, but
yeah, she got murdered.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't come back because she was dead. Her fucking boyfriend murdered her.
Oh fuck, didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. I knew about Heather O'Rourke.
Okay, so
I knew about the tragedy of Heather O'Rourke, but I didn't know about
yeah, she
oh fuck, right.
got jealous. See,
this is why you're here, Cameron.
So okay.
I was saying this last night. I was on a stream last night. I'm like, right, guys, instead of me just talking shit, Cameron will be here tomorrow and he knows stuff.
So you have Shudder, right?
Yes.
You got to watch cursed films, dude, because it's like it does the behind the scenes of all the movies that are supposedly cursed. And
I was watching the Eli Roth series, and I watched the Guard documentary last night.
Oh god, I still haven't watched that, and it pisses me off that I haven't. Like, that is one of my favorite fucking bands. Like, it's kind of embarrassing if you could see, the bits of my office that I can see. Yeah, I love Guar, but yeah. So like the cursed films, I forgot so much of like the behind the scenes shit of this movie. Because of course that's the first thing everybody thinks is the Heather O'Rourke one.
Yeah, because that's.
But yeah, no, there was like so much fuckery like behind the scenes, and yeah, like so that's why she was never brought back, was because she was murdered.
Oh fuck.
And it sucks too because she's fucking great. Like, she could have had a hell of a career.
Yeah, and I just like I said, I thought she was underutilized. She was a strong character. There's no weak characters in this movie.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've got the hangers on. And I just thought about she didn't get her moment to shine.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, and they shunted her off for part of the movie. Just seemed a bit of a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Even the fucking dog was more of a character, used more as a character.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that dog, fuck, man, like, it moved the movie along so well anytime the dog came out, because then it's like, oh, okay, so these are the signs that we need to be looking for. Just
Yeah,
so goddamn well done. Like, I cannot praise this movie enough.
yeah, and then like I said, it's back to that whole cult thing, like you're saying, because it's just we are alien cultures. You know what I mean? We're just completely different. Everyone says how we're cousins and stuff, but we're not. We're completely different people, different values, different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that. You think you're on YouTube, I guess, and we're talking, and friendships are made, etc. Well, that's humanity. You know what I mean? You can make friends with anybody if
Yeah.
you've got enough in common.
Yeah, just don't be a cunt.
But we're still completely different. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't people understand how different Britain and the US are,
Mm-hmm.
the British Isles, and even that's the whole Europe thing as well, because even the British Isles are completely different from Europe. The European
Mm-hmm.
continent's a completely alien landscape, and even parts of Europe are alien from each other. You know, it's just
Oh yeah.
some people might look the same. You can put on an accent. You know, people can change accents and maybe sound generic, but completely different. And it's just the whole American experience, so to speak, especially that suburban America, is
Mm-hmm.
an alien experience for me anyway. And to see
I
the
mean,
fact,
that's fucking alien for me too. Like, that's like nobody thinks about it, but there's a very, very strong and distinct class system in America that nobody wants to talk about. And yeah,
well, but
I
you
definitely was
escaped
never
British
part of
imperialism to get away from that, and didn't just have you don't have dynasties of families being presidents all the
it.
time, and, and the top government because and the same dynasties run the same businesses. You know that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen. I
I
find that
mean,
funny.
depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with that kind of shit. Because kind of, yeah, we do have that, but it's not as out in the open.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. That the class system here is it's called the class system.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going for thousands of years. So there's no, you know, what I mean, it's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's got advantages and it's got disadvantages. The biggest thing in any society is social mobility. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what your class system is. If you've got social mobility, that's the good thing.
Yeah.
So just because you're born into something doesn't mean you can't rise or fall. And I think that's a problem too, because so many who are born in the upper echelons aren't allowed to fall and they're propped up. That's where you get, and Hollywood's a perfect example actually, because it's Spielberg's kids, it's KK's kids, it's all that, you know, what I mean, it's our kids and almost grandkids at this point are the ones in Hollywood that haven't earned their spot. And that's why the movie industry's gone to rat shit. And that's why you've got fucking all the main companies don't know what they're doing, can't even put
Mm-hmm.
together a storyline or an overarching story because you've got these Muppets who were born into that
Mm-hmm.
and instantly given positions just because of
Yeah.
where they were born into. And that's, you know, what I mean, that's not healthy.
Well, and the terrible thing about it is it's nepotism at its finest, but like this is the spawn of people that had the intestinal fortitude to make actual decisions, not just based on numbers. It was like, oh no, I've got a feeling about you. I think this, I can put my money behind this, and if I lose it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Robert
Like,
Redford, he was a good example. Was it In the Heat of the Night or 48 Hours? What was his like first major edition?
oh fuck, I don't remember.
But that was I remember him going for his first audition.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been for 48 Hours. No, it was Nick Nolte. Sorry, what was Robert Redford? His I know it was We Live in the Castle, that prison one he's like most famous for. But there's a movie that started off his career. When he went for the audition, he fluffed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He said he was nervous, he stuttered, he messed up his lines, but the director saw something in him, and that's how he got his
Mm-hmm.
career. That wouldn't happen today.
No. Well, I mean, even look at Star Wars. Like, that was a producer being like, this is a weird fucking movie. This is a weird concept. Oh, what was the one that you did last? Oh, THX 1138. That's fucking weird.
That was American
Whatever.
Graffiti.
I think you got this. Let's see what happens. And then Lucas manages to put out something that literally changed culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't have executives in power nowadays that have that kind of, again, intestinal fortitude. I mean,
Lucas
you can
wouldn't
go
happen
so far as
now.
to say, like, some people, like, the people at A24, even, Jason Blum with Blumhouse, like, they kind of do, but there's still a method and sort of a, fill in the blanks methodology with their productions.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of A24 is actually the most disappointing because they're aiming for the arty farty crowd. So they're trying to
I
make
fucking
high
love
art.
A24.
Hmm?
I fucking love A24.
But that's who they're aiming for. They're aiming for the
Yeah.
high art,
The
the
snooty
thinkers.
douchebags like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's who they're aiming for. So dumb bastards like me kind of scratch my head and go, when I'm watching some of their movies. It's hard to they have a couple of new ones coming out. But I don't know if they're horror or not. They've like a weird high school one, which anything with high schools in it, I switch off immediately. I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah, unless it's a satire film, I don't really care. I fucking hated high school, so I try to
Yeah,
avoid it.
I couldn't get out of school quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a whole it's funny, it just shows how good this movie is. When it provokes thought and memories and just reflection on the industry as well. That's what movies are meant to do. Promote conversation
Yeah,
instead of this bland shit that
right.
comes
Just
out
like
now.
the Marvel movies.
Back to what I'm talking about, green screen. Every time you see behind the scenes, it's everyone fucking in front of a green screen
Mm-hmm.
running at each other, like fucking medieval sort of, and people punching each other in the face 20 times and not getting a bruise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell? I give up. I give up in Star Wars after Last Jedi. That was me, fucking done. No interest anymore. I was that disgusted. I went out of the movie theater, scratching my head, going, "What the hell did I just watch?"
Mm-hmm.
And then when I thought about it, I'm like, "What the hell?" Even Force Awakens, there was a bit of like making Han Solo out to be a fucking deadbeat dad and stuff, and just
Mm-hmm.
there's a few niggly bits there, but that just finished me, and I just haven't went back since. I just
See, that's funny. Like,
completely cut off. I'm just like, done, nope. And that's what I do, I walk away.
I mean, the Rise of Skywalker is not bad if you don't think about it. If you just treat it like a Marvel movie, it's pretty damn decent.
When did I give up after? Right about the time Captain Marvel came out and all that shit that went with it, I give up on Marvel. Now, the
Yeah, that's
only
funny.
reason I went to see
I love
Endgame,
Captain Marvel.
but if I'm getting called names before a movie even comes out, and if you don't see this, you're such and such, I'm like, fuck you. That's it. That's my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go and spend my money elsewhere.
Yeah. No,
Do you
and
know what I mean?
that's fair.
And that's
I
just
just
my
I
attitude. I'm
try to
not going to
ignore all that
argue about it.
shit.
I'm not going to argue with someone who hates me and hand
Mm-hmm.
over money to them. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But yeah, the only reason I went to see Endgame was because there was free tickets
It's a pretty good reason.
from a certain person's work. Even then, I still didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be arsed. Even having free tickets and we were getting popcorn and stuff because it was a corporate event.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't in the mood. And even when I sat through it, I could tell you half the shit that went on.
Same.
I just slept walked through that movie, and I haven't seen one since.
Really? You haven't watched the Doctor Strange ones?
No.
Dude.
Sorry,
So
I tell lie because I watched Spider-Man, but that's a Sony movie.
not anymore, man. Those are Marvel now. Again,
Well,
like, those are Disney. But they're fucking
did Disney
good.
buy
Like,
Sony?
yeah.
I thought they were doing an agreement. Obviously, Marvel got it's for proportion, and they rented the character, but I didn't think that.
No, they straight up bought it.
Well, let's fuck them now.
Yeah, I mean it's because all those laws that used to be in place to keep businesses from absorbing other businesses, like, guess what?
The
They don't
Monopolies
exist
Act.
anymore. But no, like the Spider-Man movies, like that whole trilogy, fantastic, and the Doctor Strange movies, like, seriously, those are fucking awesome. I just watched the last one last week, and it is a straight up Sam Raimi film that just so happens.
It was
to be Marvel.
Derrickson started off with that. I think that's I've heard
Yeah.
about reviews that it was a bit messed up, but then Derrickson started that off, and then he came out because he was kind of butting heads with him, and then Raimi came in, and I think because it wasn't a straight up Raimi movie,
It's a
is
straight
where
up
it's
fucking Raimi
is
movie.
it? Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I said, I've just no interest anymore.
Honestly, that one, like seriously,
That's
I can't stress checking that one out just for the single fact that that is more of a Raimi film, like what people like you and I would think of a Raimi film more than his
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2,
movies.
right? Spider-Man 2, the operating table. Yeah, I know we're going off on a tangent. We'll go back to the movie eventually,
Yeah,
but fuck it.
whatever.
This is why we're here, to fucking talk shit and catch up.
Well,
Fuck's sake.
and realistically,
So
like the thing about
the hospital
Poltergeist,
scene in the Raimi Spider-Man
Mhm.
2, that was straight up fucking Raimi at his
Mhm.
best, pushing it right to the envelope of
Mhm.
what he was allowed to do in the superhero genre. You know what I mean? All you needed was a few more blood splatters, a bit of guts and gore, and that could have been straight up horror movie.
Mhm.
What I hear about Doctor Strange is if he had been allowed to do that, it could have been excellent.
I don't understand what people are fucking talking about. I don't think they watched the same movie I did. Like the fucking ending alone, it's I can't talk about it, but it's straight up like if you can't watch that and see like classic Raimi from that, then you don't understand Raimi's filmography. It's just fucking beautiful and perfect, and it's amazing because this is fucking Disney, and they're letting him do this.
Yeah, that's an anomaly because, like I said, I just jumped off. I'm not gonna support a franchise that tells me I'm a misogynist, racist, estophobe,
Mhm.
all that. And if you don't go and see this movie, you're a horrible person. Sorry, I'm not joining the fucking religion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not fucking sitting in a pulpit.
mhm.
I come from a country where that, you know what I mean, you had fucking choice of either Christianity, and even that wasn't good enough because if
Mhm.
you're one, you're an evil. But you know what I mean? I could easily have made a really comfortable life for myself just by saying the words and
Mhm.
nod my head. That's not me.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing about the executives: if you're gonna have your idiots out on Twitter calling me names just for existing and blah blah blah, well, guess what? Fuck off. You don't get my
Yeah.
money. You don't get my support.
Yeah, see,
That's just my.
I just usually don't give a shit about Marvel because it's all cookie cutter movies.
And I'm bored with that. That's why I want to.
Like they're fucking boring. Like the only shit that seems to be different is the Spider-Man movies. Like I said, I fucking love the Doctor Strange stuff. Captain Marvel was fun. I really liked it. I understand why people hated it, but I didn't. Um, but yeah, the only other thing is as soon as they got Taika Waititi to start doing the Thor movies, because I fucking hated the Thor movies until Ragnarok, and this new one looks like it's pretty fun too.
Yeah, I've heard. Like I said, it's I don't even It's funny enough because it's a bit of a strange quandary because if you I don't understand the concept of hate watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't
So there's
understand it
people
either.
will watch stuff just to hate on it,
Mhm.
and then they watch it, and then they just spend the whole time ripping it apart.
Yeah, I
And
don't get it.
that's purely the reason why. So they're watching. You know what I mean, it's almost hypocritical. They're
Mhm.
constantly watching movies just to fucking pan on it. And
Well, it's
to me,
like, how
that's
cushy of a
it's
fucking life do you have to be that miserable and have that much time?
now you know me. If I don't like something, I'll straight up say I don't fucking like it.
Mhm.
But also at the same time, like with Poltergeist here, if I love a movie, I'm going to gush about it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just how I feel about the individual movie. Now, what concerned me is, like I said, thankfully if social media was back then, I probably wouldn't watch half the movies I did. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? Because that's
Same.
what put me off movies now, and that's why I don't follow actors. I follow two, Jennifer Tilly and Robert Englund,
Mhm.
because they're the only two I've seen so far that don't act like absolute dickheads online.
Yeah.
In fact, Jennifer Tilly, she's a really interesting one because she does half the Hollywood bubblehead sort of thing. I mean, she does her posts about, oh, I wear a Prada bag and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, but
Mhm.
then she's also straight up doing like videos where she's cooking with her family, you know, and they're all around the kitchen table. And it could be any family,
Mhm.
but she's not being preachy. You know what I mean? So the likes of her have genuine affection for her because she's in Hollywood, but she's also shows enough of an ordinary person and
Mhm.
relatable that I can actually get behind her.
Yeah.
Robert Englund, absolute legend. and he doesn't post shit. You know what I mean? He enjoys life and he enjoys his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not preachy about it. He's not an arrogant fuck. And he's just living life to the best. So, hats off, and he still wants to create. You know what I mean? Because he just loves doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't met or seen any other actors. Like, fucking Stephen King's pissed me off because he won't shut the fuck up on Twitter. And it's like, dude, you're actually going against, you know what I mean? You're actually spoiling me off your art because you're getting on like a dickhead. Like,
It's
why?
funny. 'Cause the only shit I ever see of his posts is just when he posts shit about his dogs. Or his
All right,
dog.
well, he does. He gets on. He jumped on the whole fucking every latest thing of the last 2-3 years. You know, he's jumped on and had an opinion on. And fucking Elvira, what do you call her? Cassandra Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
She fucking jumped on saying, "Oh, people that don't get vaccinated should be cancelled." I'm like, bitch. Do you remember people tried to cancel you? And
Right.
people got behind you, and then because you're up the fucking ladder now, and you're in your fucking ivory tower, you're being the exact same. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? That shit winds me up, and then that makes me not want to watch their stuff or support them. I think we've had the problem is that the curtain's been lifted. It's like a Wizard of Oz. Do you know that the mistake and the veneer that sort of kept these people? We kind of knew they were deviants. We kind of knew they were hypocrites, and we knew they all knifed each other in the back because it's all about their individual property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're a brand of one, and their brand, the only way they can get up is for somebody else to lose out. And like I said, I'm reading Tom Barr's book, and fucking Methane Markle, her whole thing has been about that, and she's a fucking horrible cunt. And you just see that whole Hollywood mindset laid bare. That kind of ruins movies, because if you know these arseholes are in it, you're like, ugh. So I think I need to go back. They need to just shut up and not like basically wave their dicks in people's face. Yeah, we know your cunts, but if you're like straight out letting us know your country on a daily basis, well, guess what? It's like going to a restaurant, right? And you see the chef. The chef's got all the stains and fucking picking his nose and fucking, you know what I mean, spitting in the soup and stuff. You're not going to eat at the restaurant, are you?
Yeah.
And that's the way these people are getting on. That's my problem. And if I get to a certain point, same with friendships and people, if somebody rubs me up the wrong way at that point, I just cut off. I'm done. And I walk away.
Well, it's like life's too short to fucking deal with miserable assholes anyways.
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to sit and fucking have a sour face on me all day. I want to fucking smile and laugh and enjoy and get a thrill down again, a bit of a, jump scare or something, and just go through my existence.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking have no time for this. Anyway, where were we? Major tangent.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing about this movie is it's a great movie, but there really isn't a whole lot there. It's the beast trying to catch her, and then it misses, and then it tries to catch her again, and then it succeeds, and then there's shit that happens, and then it ends.
Yeah, because when they bring in the investigators, like I said, we're talking about that. They didn't go to the cops; they go to paranormal investigators. Their whole reaction to them coming into the house, and they're so used to all the going ons, and these people are just like, oh, what is this? And they're like, nah, yeah, and they'll do that in a second, they'll do this in a second. Yeah, they come in pairs, so blah, blah, blah. Coffee pot moving and stuff, and they're looking under the table. It's just like, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's when that overnight scene with him staying there, and the young one, I can't remember his name, but the other assistant, he gets his head messed with, and he's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then next morning, was it Nick or something? Yeah, the camera guy will be staying with you. He won't be coming back, but I will. I'll be bringing help.
Mm-hmm.
It was just funny, and then her head flash being completely going, I'm shitting myself sitting here.
Yeah, I love that shit. And it's so funny too, because like that whole interaction between the investigators and the family and the house, like that's something that we never really saw before, and we have seen so many times since when it comes to like paranormal movies.
Oh god. I looked at the special features in the Blu-ray I've got, and it was all wasn't actually about the movie. It was about paranormal investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say now, these are the most fucking unfunny people. Like, with absolutely no sense of humor. Somebody invited me to a paranormal group, probably because I'm in horror groups and stuff, right? And someone had put once, "Oh, what would you do to protect yourself going into a house? You know, what spell or whatever?" So I thought, let's have a laugh. I put up the invocation to Satan. Oh my god, I got fucking jumped on. Why would you do that? Oh, you're communing with the evil spirits, blah blah blah. And fucking, I mean, I got jumped on from a great hand. Like,
oh, that's great.
Fucking chill out.
Yeah, I've kind of had that happen too. Because I got buddies that are in paranormal investigator groups and stuff. And you know, I'm a Satanist and they know about that. So they'll reach out to me with certain questions that, you know, as an atheist, why would you ask me that shit? So I'll fuck with them. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
always like, oh, that's not funny. And it's like, man, you're asking somebody that doesn't believe in this shit about this shit. Like, what do you expect? Obviously, I'm gonna fuck with you.
yeah, you're asking dumb questions. You're taking it far too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get into those paranormal shows. Going
Oh,
around
dude,
with
I
a
fucking
fucking
love
night
them.
vision cam, shaky cam. I think that's part of my aversion to found footage movies. Is that shit?
See,
I think that's part of my disgust.
I
Once you mention found footage in a movie, I'm out. I'm like, fuck,
okay.
no.
That being said, have you watched Found Footage 3D?
No.
You need to seek that out. That is probably the best found footage movie ever made.
Troll Hunter. Scandinavian.
You liked that movie?
I did actually, yeah.
God, I've watched it like 2 or 3 times and I still don't know how I feel about that movie because it's funny, but I don't know. I don't know. I have
Come
to
on, you
watch
got
it.
the bit in the cave where the guy's like, I lied, I'm a Christian.
Oh yeah,
and the trolls smell them out. You're like, fucking you wanker.
But yeah, Found Footage 3D. It's fucking hilarious. And it almost has like the same kind of feel of like Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which you've seen that, right?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Oh, well, so it's got that same sort of feel where it's like the movie changes pace at some point. Like it goes from being found footage to straight up like changes to a horror movie, and it's so goddamn good.
Dude, this week, I've spent like about 3 hours minimum watching shit. And I'm still, you know what I mean? You still feel like you're scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've got the first season of a TV show, got a couple of movies, I've done streams on them. There's not enough time in the day to watch every fucking movie.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I wish it'd be like a fucking Clockwork Orange, you know, just take it all.
Right. How nice would that be?
Just take it all in and have it all rattle. That's why I get mixed up with plots, because I do feel like I have watched thousands of movies, but when you're doing this shit, sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't know anything. I've watched nothing, because there's always a movie. Like, oh no, I haven't heard of that one. That's when I get the small victories. Like, I know something you don't know, and you're like, it's like my one victory in 100. I'm like, yes. That's me for like 2 days on a buzzing.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I'll take those victories when I can get it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, this franchise also introduces one of the most interesting characters in movies, and that was Tangina. I think, I don't know, her stature, her voice, her mannerisms. It's hard to find a character like her. So Tangina's a spiritualist to bring in.
That shit scared me more than anything else in this movie. And she was supposed to be the good guy.
Oh yeah, but she's friggin' busy spanking everybody from she meets them.
Yeah. The
scene where she's going around the house and Stephen tries to answer her with his mind. You know what I mean? And he's just there going. That was another thing. Like, even when they're all like terrified, they're all sleeping together on the couches and they're still a family and stuff. That's hard to put across these days, because everyone would be fucking dysfunctional and fighting with each other. You know what I mean? It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But that sense of humor throughout it as well. You know, that the fact that they still have banter between each other, and the chemistry between Diane and Stephen in this is amazing. They have their in jokes, and she knows he's up to fuckery. You know, and what are you doing? You're not answering her. You know, I mean, that's not like you. I'm trying to with my mind.
Just their whole dynamic throughout the entire show is fucking great. And especially like in the beginning, that shit makes me laugh every fucking time. Like when they're like the straight up like yuppie parents, and then everybody's in bed and they're just sitting in their room smoking weed. It's like that's like a real couple right there.
Yep, and the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Really hamming it out. You're like, okay.
Yeah. So funny.
But this, like I said, this thing culminates pretty quickly. All of a sudden, there's a plan. Okay, was there stuff appeared, and remember all the old jewelry and stuff, which we find out is from the graves. Fucking pops through the ceiling. Okay, so that's the way out. That's the way in. Okay, go get her.
Yeah.
The only bit of this that annoys me is that Stephen all of a sudden acts stupid for no reason. And that's when Dan goes in and they have the argument about, like, well, you need to hold the rope. You're stronger than me. Makes sense. You know what I mean? And once again, today, that would be Diane would do it because she's the woman and she's the better, bestest ever, and no man will help me, sort of thing. You know what I mean? That toxicity is about today would not be able to make that scene happen. Where those two are like, well, I'll put myself at risk, you know. I'm here to protect. Yeah, but you need to hold the rope. You know, that's teamwork. And we're all in the same thing. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, love. And they just instantly work together. But the bit that gets me was all of a sudden, because Tangina starts calling the spirits into the light, like, why didn't they discuss that briefly? This is what I'm going to do. Because they let out their plan anyway, but then all of a sudden he's like, you said not to go into the light, and then just messes the whole thing up. I didn't. That's the only bit in this movie that, and it annoyed me when I first watched it, you know, and I've seen it since. Just that one bit where he just starts messing things up didn't make sense. Because throughout this, they have been rational and embraced what's going on, and then all of a sudden he has a wobbly fit for no reason whatsoever. And plus, why the hell didn't they put a mattress down?
Right. I didn't even think about that.
It just because they straight out ripped this off in Stranger Things. Have you seen season 4 yet? All right. Well, they straight off ripped this scene off. So they do for Stranger Things. You know what I mean? It's a blatant rip off. Like carbon copy. The only difference is they put a mattress underneath, which kind of makes sense.
Smart. Yeah.
Because those two should have got splatted. No, I mean, that's not a good height to fall from. Like straight up, but plus that was this dimension. How far did they fall? So what momentum was there? Still, it was well acted. Any other movie, this would be the end, right? They've rescued her.
Yeah.
Fade to black. But no, this movie's got more. You're not getting away that quickly.
Yeah. Love that aspect too.
Yeah, and this is where I'm busy. Right, we're getting the hell out of here. We're getting the hell out of Dodge. They're still packing us. They've got the removal vans. Like, fucking just throw it in the truck. Who gives a shit? Get me out of here. But they're spending one last night in the house. And then it all kicks off again. It's like, no. You didn't get away that easily.
Yeah.
I think it was actually more terrifying than the initial scene.
Yeah.
The way they did this. It's like,
well, yeah, because of course you think you're safe, and then you're not.
And you think you've been through the worst of it, and Tangina says this house is clean. Well, apparently not. And yeah, that's where they try again. Freaking start throwing. That's such an easy. Diane, you know, she's wearing that t-shirt with numbers on it. That was such an 80s thing. The long t-shirts. Sort of half innocent, half sultry at the same time. It was a strange thing of the times.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gets thrown about the place, like classic Exorcist type stuff. You know what I mean? Around the ceiling and stuff. Then they try to capture the kids again. But this is where we start seeing the graves literally burst out of the ground.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever go into a swimming pool again if that happened to you?
Would I personally? Yeah, because that'd be entertaining to me. But would the average person
The average
probably
person.
not?
Yeah, it's like he falls in some, all the bodies start appearing, and then
Mhm.
fucking straight up out of the ground, all the coffins and stuff, and it's like,
Mhm.
whoa.
Yeah, I love that shit. I mean, it's such a classic scene. And it's so funny too because people always like it was, the urban legend that those are real skeletons. It's like, of course they're real fucking skeletons. It's cheaper to buy a skeleton than to pay someone to make a skeleton.
Yeah,
So why the
you
fuck
buy them
wouldn't
from
it?
India.
Mm-hmm.
Same as science departments, in schools,
Mm-hmm.
they order real human skeletons from India
Yeah, because it's
because they
cheaper.
don't give a shit. Here, we'll sell you our dead,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. And yeah, it is actually cheaper. It's just it's funny, but yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah. Someday,
And
god
then
damn it, I'll have a skeleton in my house.
honestly, you can order them, but look for what Indian websites. That's where you buy them from.
Mm-hmm.
Look up science departments, school supplies, and I think they actually say I might do a wee bit of googling for you, but definitely that's because that's even our schools over here they have real
Mm-hmm.
human skeletons because yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's just so fucking cool.
But yeah, these are bursting into graves. How long was Stephen away with his boss? That was a weird thing because they take Stephen's boss takes him away because he's been ill for about a week or something. And that's where we get the reveal that phase one was built on top of the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they moved all the graves and everyone's having that, so that's all leading to. Hence the catalyst of, oh shit, right? That's why the dead are disturbed because they were basically their graves were desecrated. But he left in the afternoon or like lunchtime or something, and he doesn't come back the nighttime just to go up a hill. Like, what the hell were they doing all the time?
Right.
Weird.
It must have been killing the rest of that dropped case of beer.
Must have been, yeah, for doing something weird. But yeah, that was a bit of a dysfunction, bit of a disjointed scene. Like a very, very limited criticism about this movie. But the whole fact Stephen's away, was boss all that time, and then comes back, and everything, fucking all the houses lighting up. Like they were great effects, still die.
Oh yeah.
The only effects like is the ghosty type ones, but then that was generic at the time, so that's to be expected. But the effects of the house and all was just brilliant, and everything just going basically apeshit at that point. Run out of the house and get in the car, and then the wee girl arrives back just randomly. Is like, oh, what the hell? Once again, she was so underutilized in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh right, I've got to get her. And I know they got Robbie and the dog away and stuff. It made sense for the rescue thing, but then them all being together, and then he shouts at his boss, "I'd have chinned him." Like if this happened to my house and my family because of something he did, he'd be getting sparked out.
Yeah, right.
But he just said, "You only move the headstones." Fucking dunk. Fuck you. What the hell, dude? And that's basically it. They hightail out of there as the house just implodes.
Yeah, just another classic fucking scene.
That was well done. Like even today, like that's why I have a problem with the way they do VFX because it's VFX. You know what's happening. The magic is gone. Where that sort of thing, you don't. You're still trying to figure it out, and that's where the magic of movies is and performance that you don't 100% know. Yes, you can look behind it. You can guess. You can see from other movies and creature features and stuff, but there's still that magic of how things happen.
Yeah,
and I think that's why this movie holds up even today. All that there, thoroughly enjoyed it. I could watch it again, no problem.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of those ones I try to revisit every few years.
And it has become, I know it was only got like a 15 rating or a PG-13 or something, but it's still horror.
Mm-hmm.
So it proves as well you don't have to be full out guts and gore to give people a good scare and enjoy the horror genre. In fact, I'd say this is gateway horror. If you're not too sure, watch Poltergeist.
Yeah, that's very good point.
Yeah, if you're not too sure about the horror genre, watch this movie. And if it's enough to wet, you know what I mean, it's enough to give you a few chills, but it's not completely out there that you'll walk away traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well worth it.
Yeah, no, this is like the family friendly version of a good horror movie.
Yeah, I was worried. I'm starting to get hope again for the horror genre because thankfully it's missed out. I know there's some generic stuff put out there, and there's a lot of straight to DVD stuff, and there's a lot of crap, but there's like still genuine heart behind the horror movies because it's still a niche franchise. Unlike
Which
we're
is
talking
so
about
funny if you
superhero.
think about it, because horror single-handedly is what like keeps the fucking train going. I mean, aside from obviously like the big tentpoles of like Marvel movies and whatever, but if you look back at history, like it pretty much there's the term one for us, one for them when it comes to like directing and stuff like that. That's kind of what the horror shit is. It's like the one for us is the big movie that comes out and just kind of shits the bed, and then the one for them is always the horror, which that's what recoups all the money. Like even going back to the classic Universal monsters, like shit from those days, those were like the shit movies. Those were the matinees for kids, but all the box office money that was pulled from that was what propelled them to be able to make the next shitty movie that falls into obscurity. So it makes me laugh how it's still considered a niche genre when that's pretty much what keeps the genre, like the industry, alive.
Yeah, but like I said, I've given up. Like I've got pissed off, as I said, with Marvel and Star Wars and all that sort of shit. So they don't get my money, but I'll still buy a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
I'll still rent one. I'll still buy a Blu-ray. I'll still buy shit. You know what I mean? Horror has not. And the funny thing is, and we've talked about, because horror looks at the negative side of humanity, there's always been a social justice kind of theme with horror because it looks at the ugliness of mankind and it looks at the monstrosity. That's the whole point of horror.
Yeah.
So how have we managed to watch this for decades and not get disgusted with any messaging or whatever? Yet the mainstream can't seem to copy that. They have to fucking beat you over the head.
Yeah, well, it's because they don't understand what subtlety is or subtext.
Yeah, because if you don't have that in horror, you're fucked. Your movies fucked. Your stories fucked. You know what I mean?
Well, it kind of depends on what it is, though. Because, I mean, if you go with just like a fucking fun slasher, it doesn't have to have subtext. It just has to have people dying in fun ways. But, yeah, like the more, I guess, smarter, deep ones like that, yeah, of course you've got it.
Well, we talked about Men and stuff, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for that to get released again to have a look at it. Still scratching my head at that one.
Yeah, that one, like I put that and Nope in the same class of. Oh, okay, so you saw it?
Not yet. I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling good.
I really, really, really wanted to like it more than I did. It had a lot of potential. It wasn't bad. I will say that.
I think Jordan Peele's kind of a one-trick pony, and he's...
Dude, that's the sad thing. Like, Get Out was fucking amazing.
Here's the thing as well, right? I don't get the people saying that was a racist movie or about racists. You don't put yourself in the body of somebody different color than you if you're a racist. And what was that? Sorry, give me a second. Bob Hoskins was in a movie. I don't know if you remember it. The Ghost Story.
The original Ghost Story? Or the one that came out a couple of years ago?
Heart Condition.
Oh.
Did you watch that?
No.
So basically, Bob Hoskins, this is a racist, by the way. This is how you play a racist character. Bob Hoskins plays a racist cop. Now, this black fella dies. Bob Hoskins has a heart attack, but the black fella is an organ donor. So Bob Hoskins gets this black fella's heart. Now he wakes up, what they did is they put a black dildo between his legs and made a joke about he's now got a black man inside him. And Bob Hoskins' character freaks out the fuck because he's a racist. And he's got a black man inside. That's racism. What? I've got an N word, inside me. Blah 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 blah. That's a racist. And then the story is that the black man then haunts him because like the hands. What I mean, the whole thing of Frankenstein, that the body parts are possessed. So basically, because he's got this heart, the ghost of the black man who's murdered haunts him. I need to watch it again. It's fucking years old. Back in the days, but then they had to go and solve his murder.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what breaks down the stereotypes. That's a racist. In Get Out, these people are basically stealing black people's body because they see them as superior. So that's not racism. If you see somebody's physicality as superior to your own, that's not racism. And when that scene where, what do you call the girl in it? The one that was doing the entrapment?
Oh, shit, I don't remember.
But when she goes, get him, grandma. Do you know what I mean? And still has a love for her grandma, even though she's in the black body. That's not racist.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the fucking dumb bastards on the internet, they just use buzzwords and they don't look at the subcontext of that movie. That was a fucking brilliant movie.
Yeah.
And actually, to me,
really
that did more to break down race relations. And oh fuck, you've got, you have a better physicality. I want you, sort of thing. And I don't care. We're using the best. If you were racist, you wouldn't use black people. You'd use white people because if you're that Aryan fucking mindset. So that completely flips the whole narrative on its head.
Yeah.
And that should have been Jordan Peele's, that should have launched him if it hadn't been fucking painted with the shit that it was. And then he's in the Hollywood fart bubble, so he's smelling all their farts. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And he's getting told this one thing. And if you get told something over and over again, you start to believe it's true. So he's obviously got his head filled full of shit after that movie. And then he's thinking, oh, I got to make them this way now. Which is fucking sad.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Us, but I really...
Oh, God, don't.
Well, that's the funny thing is my wife saw it shortly after it came out, I think. And I was like camping or some shit, so I didn't get to watch it with her. I hated the fucking movie. And then we went and saw this. What's that?
They're unlikable characters. So when you start off with unlikable characters and everyone's rough and fucking abrasive and no redeeming qualities, how can you root for them?
Mm-hmm.
And that's ghetto.
Unless
they're
it's a
fucking ghetto
slasher,
characters,
man. Like that just doesn't work. But
no,
but yeah, so we went and saw Nope this last week, and as soon as it was over, she's like, "Well, it was better than Us," and it's like, "Okay, I guess I should watch Us."
Yeah, it's
it had potential, and honestly, I'm kind of biased. Like, I'm gonna fucking give something away that's not really giving anything away, but the movie would have been better for me if the chimp hadn't got shot. That's all I'll say. Like, it probably would have been a good solid 6, maybe 7 on a 10-point scale, but then an animal got killed, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, fuck that. And it drops away 4 points.
Yeah, fucking 100%. Like, that's a 3. Right?
Well, another example of a fun slasher, believe it or not, it might be a controversial point, but the latest remake or fucking sequel, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It was! Like, the story was fucking garbage.
It was not Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's not the point. The point is the people getting killed. It was so...
The bus scene.
Yeah.
That movie is worth it alone for the bus scene.
You're gonna get canceled. Yeah. No.
That movie is worth it alone for the fucking bus scene. Now, that could have been a brand new franchise. Seriously, there was enough in that movie to not make it Leatherface. There was a brand new character. It was a cross between Norman Bates and Michael Myers. But it wasn't Leatherface. So there was a potential of a brand new character. Well, and maybe instead of a chainsaw, if you had to use a circular saw. Do you know what I mean? If you had to use a circular saw attached to him, there's a brand new character. There's a hatchet style character. Do you know what I mean? Fucking brand new franchise. But no, they have to go through the lazy route of fucking jumping on the established works.
So the funny thing with that for me was so many people were bitching, oh, well, it doesn't stay true to the story. And it's like, motherfucker, what stories have you been watching? None of them stay true to the story. Like 2 and 3 kind of tie together. Everything else is just fucking way out in left field.
Yeah.
Like, none of it ties together very well. There's one singular character that's always in it, and that's it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What do you call that? The fucking character they tried to bring back. Oh, she was horrendous. Wasn't even the same actress.
No, it's... Well, no, it was the same actress.
I thought it wasn't. I thought
No, it was. That was the whole big reveal, was that, oh man, we brought her back. And it's like, okay, so she's a really terrible Sarah Connor / Laurie Strode character.
Fucking
yeah.
Oh,
so bad,
God.
but in the best way possible.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun to be had with it, but it's just, I don't know, man. Just keep your cannibal families to the fucking, you know what I mean? Stick with the cannibal families and not have them go and visit cousins and then start up again. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that could have been its own franchise. But the laziness or the back to what you're saying, people don't want to take chances, so they're afraid to do anything new now. So they have to. Oh, what's an IP that has a built-in fan base? Oh, let's do that. Let's insert all this stuff that's nothing to do with it. Oh, people are complaining. Oh, how'd that happen? Oh, they must be all racists and fucking misogynists and this and phobes and fuck off.
Yep.
That's not what we're saying. But the horror genre has managed to weather this, you know what I mean? Because you can still have a laugh. And that's the beauty of it. That's why this will still be going. Like 20 years later, there'll still be nerds like us talking about horror movies, while Marvel's long forgotten about and DC's fucking imploded and whatever else is fucking...
I mean, hasn't DC already imploded?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you see the state of fucking two people, fucking Ezra Miller and Amber Heard? That's what you need to say about DC in their fucking future. They brought Ben Affleck back.
That's good.
They brought Ben Affleck back for Aquaman 2, yet they said that the Snyderverse is finished. So they don't know, like, from fucking 1 minute to the next, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. They're a bunch of assholes.
Fucking idiots, man.
Biggest mistake they ever did was cancel Constantine.
The TV show?
Yeah. Because
he was great, that actor.
Was fucking amazing. That is the first time I've ever seen anything DC on screen, like live action, that was proper. So it's proper DC, even though this is Vertigo pre-Constantine, or I guess pre-Hellblazer closing out. But it's like, that was fucking perfect. Everything about that was amazing. Like, there's boxes right over here that just off camera that is nothing but the entire run of the Vertigo Hellblazer, like up to number 300 where it ended and went to DC. So I'm a little bit of a fan, and that was perfect. And then they just like, nah. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I watched Swamp Thing a couple weeks ago there, 2 weeks ago there. I was going to review it, but I was like, it was even the cheesy element. Remember the original 80s show series? That had fun with it. This is kind of replicate parts without the fun, but they also brought in the supernatural elements, which I've already read a few issues of Swamp Thing. But they didn't. That was the bit that would have fucking hooked people in, the whole supernatural element. But they just left it, and then they did one season and cancelled it.
Yeah, that's the thing that people tend to forget about. Like that character is, it's not just nature taking care of itself. Like that's the paranormal entity. That's like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the dark and the green
shit.
And the fucking the constant the bringing voodoo and the fucking and the sort of Creole type, I'm not too sure about their witchcraft, but it's based in voodoo, but it's slightly different. All that shit is there, and there's so much to tap from. And now they're just pissing down the fucking toilet, but they'll spend billions in a fucking rehash of Lord of the Rings that's not even Lord of the Rings. Oh god, I've watched interviews with some of those actors. It must be a requirement you have to be an absolute bell end to act in this show, because every one of them's an insufferable dickhead. Like, you just listen to them talk and stuff, and I have this thing about fucking see people that wear earrings, them fucking diamondy type bright earrings, right? You're instantly identifying yourself as a fucking knob jockey. If you wear fucking shiny earrings, then fucking study, to me, you're just identifying yourself as a dickhead. They're
That's
the
fair.
most fucking crass-looking things on the planet. And I don't care. They could cost a fucking $1 million each, a fucking stud. You look like you've bought something out of a fucking Dollar Tree store.
It's
Do you know
true.
what I mean? You're fucking tacky. So instantly, the fucking main character who's playing one of the elves is fucking wearing these things. I'm a dickhead. And then he opens his mouth and confirms it. And the shit they're talking, like, instantly, I have no interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I can watch the extended editions from start to end. I can watch fucking 10
Yeah,
hours
I
worth
will
of movies.
fucking pull my dick raw watching those.
Oh yeah,
every single time.
I'll have 2 piss breaks, the whole thing. That's how fucking dedicated I am. The way Peter Jackson put those movies out. Not The Hobbit, obviously. That's boring as fuck.
Oh, you're so fucking crazy. I love The Hobbit. Fucking love it.
What's that? I used to have what? They just dragged out the book. I used to have one of the original books, actually called 150. The fucking pages were yellow and old. It was that old. But this the Hobbit just dragged it out too much, and they could have done a much tighter story, and then maybe done the Silmarillion. Do you know what I mean? With the
I don't
budget.
know how the fuck you could do the Silmarillion though and do it justice, even if it stuck with the trilogy. Like,
well, Silmarillion's just one book. You know what I mean? It's not an elongated story. Yeah, it was telling tales over time. I'm trying to think. Not Cloud Atlas, but there's another similar one that plays with time periods. Do you know what I mean? The movie kind of jumps a couple of 100 years. They could have done it like that.
I don't know.
Or what do you call it? The Sarah Connor Chronicles. Do you know what I mean? Sarah Connor Chronicles jump between the past and future. And they did it really well. They could have done it in that format. And covered the ages. Do you know what I mean? Just had the 2 cast sets, for each time period, and done it that way.
Yeah.
But who the fuck doesn't want to see 20 Balrogs fucking charging down a battlefield?
Yeah.
Fucking Morgoth, you know what I mean? Who's even fucking whipping the Balrogs, you know what I mean? That's instant orgasm right there. But
yeah, straight up.
But this show's never going to do that because they fucked up. They only bought the appendices and not the actual story. And now they're justified because they know they've just spent stupid amounts of money on a pile of shit. And now they're like,
I'm hopeful because, one, it's more Tolkien, so I'm happy with that. But knowing that they passed on the Dark Tower series that was being done by somebody who fucking lives and breathes the Dark Tower universe, knowing that they passed on that for this, it's like, it better fucking be good. Because I was listening to an interview with the guy who wrote and filmed the pilot for the Dark Tower series, and that motherfucker had it right. Like, I was getting goosebumps the whole time I was listening to it, because it's just like, yeah, this motherfucker knows this universe. And then Amazon's like, meh, we got other properties.
Yeah, and they'll go and buy a bit of one when they've been given a blessing. That's what I'm saying. See these, and that's what I'm talking about, the nepotism and why these companies, because they're basically handed in their fiefdoms that are next in line to the throne, so to speak, and they're not actually looking for quality anymore. Where back in the time of this movie, you only got your chops if you actually were able to demonstrate, you had something about you. But the Spielbergs of the day have kind of shrunk into the background, and then these fucking Muppets have taken their place.
Yeah.
And it's sad. But good thing is that we can always go back in time and look at movies. That's a good thing about art. Once you create it, it's there.
Yeah.
And you can always go back. And if you're feeling, what I'll say to people that are feeling bad about fucking movies and so on, like I do as well, I mean, because one of the major enjoyments of my life was going to movies.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's taken away from me, well, guess what? I can always go back. And that's part of the reason for this podcast, why I would jump forward and back in time and look at what's out now and step back every so often, because we've also pulled the veneer off stuff that we thought were classics. And then we've realized that they're actually a bit shit. Do you know what I mean? But that's the joy when you take off the rose tinted glasses and you look at something, you're like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
But thankfully, this one isn't.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this is This is definitely one of those movies that's going to stand the test of time. Like as long as people still watch movies, it's still going to be watched. Like,
Yeah,
this is going to
and
be right up there with the Universal monsters.
we'll maybe talk about the sequels on another stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe just do them both together because although 2's my favorite, I have to say out of the 3 of them. I really like 2, but I really like to hear your opinions.
Yeah, and it's been so long since I've watched this, so that would be fun to do.
Yeah, we'll maybe do that sometime. Look at the sequels. Yeah, so that's basically it. I think good time to wrap it up. We're fucking near 2 hours at this thing. You know what I mean? For one or two tangents along the way, but we'll
not us. Never. We stay on point. God damn it.
Yeah, focused 100%. Sure, that's half the fun, eh? Just fucking jump on, talk a lot of shit. Well, I suppose just wrap up and say thanks very much to our horrific authors who took part in July. That was W.A. Roberts, Tristan Hutchison, Gary Batchelor, Katie Marie, and Dale Gibson. Guys, check out our channels. We don't just do this segment and talk about movies. We also feature authors, independent creators on a weekly basis. That's part of the reason for the existence, is to get new art out there, get people the eyes on it, and give people a bit of a lift, because the corporations aren't going to do it for you. They're just going to gatekeep and keep the same sludge going out. So the more voices we can get out there, more creativity, and give people who are actually knocking their pan in and making stuff a bit of a leg up. So check out their other episodes. I do randomly, we've got horrific reviews, do randomly just movies throughout the week. We do unboxings, we open nerdy shit and look at it, and play games as well now and again. Although I'm shit at them. So
God, we really need to get together again for that shit.
The problem is Evil Dead's fucking hard.
Yeah.
That game really is merciless. Jesus Christ, that game does not give you a minute. Like, it slaps you about from the minute you jump on. So you need to be on point. Even the side missions, I'm still haven't fully completed the first one.
Same.
I've got as far as the head to go and bury it, and then that's it. I'll keep getting smacked down.
Yeah, that's about where I die too.
Yeah, they're not giving it away easily. Like,
yeah, no, that's
all that.
It's proper.
All that stuff to look forward to. Hopefully now with a new platform, that these streams will come out a bit smoother now, less hiccups. Can't guarantee it because technology is technology. You know what I mean? Always find a way to screw you over, but so far so good. All right then. So until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.
Horrific.
Yeah.